So I know this is going to be a very hot take, but why is Botox in our 20s like so pushed on us? I'm 27 and I don't want it yet, but that's like frowned upon because I don't have it yet. And everywhere you go, like estheticians, dermatologists, social media, every influencer, it's all about Botox and filler. Like, I feel like as a society, we need to stop making people feel bad about not getting it, because I'm okay with not having it. But I feel like I need it now because everyone around me is always talking about getting it. Like, why can't people feel okay with getting it, but also being 27 and not having it, you know?
Welcome to Contour Image, where I help you find and embrace your true beauty. And today we are going to be talking about a very popular topic, Botox. Now, Botox is something that I have been wanting to talk about for quite a while. It is somewhat controversial, and I know that there are some side effects and things that people are talking about nowadays that they weren't talking about, of course, when it first came out and became extremely popular. So we're gonna go over a few videos that I found on TikTok about Botox. So we're going to talk about what Botox is, why do people do it, where are the most common places that Botox is placed, and we are talking about the face primarily, the results people do get with Botox, side effects and regrets, and of course, the alternatives instead of using Botox. So let's get started. Botox is an injectable that is injected into the muscle of your body. Now, most times people use this primarily in their face, but there have also been other places where they can use it in their, I believe it's called their laterals right here, even on top of their head, for things like migraines. But in this case, since we're talking mostly about beauty on this channel, we're gonna be talking mainly about the face here. So Botox is an injectable that is measured in units, and we'll show you a video here about the units and how it'll show a little bit about what the units are exactly. And they're placed in the muscle, and what it is to actually paralyze the muscle in the face so that you don't make basically expressions. And the point of not making expressions is when you do make expressions over time, you start to create lines and wrinkles in your face where those impressions are constantly being made over and over again. So the reason people would do Botox is to prevent making more lines and wrinkles in the face as you age, hence becoming an anti-aging alternative. Now, more of the videos that I'm going to share with you are going to explain more about it. But for the first video that I'm going to share with you today, we're going to talk about where are the most common or the actual places that Botox is placed into the face.
All of these dots are possible places on the face where you can get Botox. A really common and one of the first places people get Botox is between their brows for those 11 lines you get when you frown. Another super common area is the forehead for those horizontal lines that come from lifting your eyebrows. These are injection points for the crow's feet or those horizontal lines that come from the lateral canthus of your eye when you smile. There are 2 injection points at the lateral portion of the brow that help lift the brows, especially when you smile. This injection point is for your bunny lines or those little scrunch lines that you get when you frown. You can get a little Botox at the tip of your nose to help lift the tip and also in the nostrils to prevent flaring, especially while smiling. This injection point is for people with a particularly gummy smile. It's not good for everybody, so you have to make sure you're the right candidate. And then a lip flip, which also helps show more red body of your lip when you smile. This point is for the jelly roll or that bulge you get under the eye with smiling. We can also Botox the masseters, one of the muscles responsible for mastication. Botoxing these can help with pain, jaw-related pain, as well as slim the lower face. Botoxing the mentalis muscle or the chin can help elongate the face and prevent that orange peel look in the chin that we get as we age. Botoxing these muscles helps lift the corners of the mouth and prevents a frown. These injection points are for Nefertiti neck lift. The muscle we are injecting is the platysma. It inserts onto the jawline all the way down to the collarbone. This muscle can pull down the lower face and contribute to jowling. As well as we get older with age, we see more of these platysmal bands when we talk. So by Botoxing these muscles, we're going to see less of those bands with speech and at rest, and we're also gonna help lift the lower face and snatch the jawline.
So those are the most common places that you're gonna see where you can put Botox in the skin, or the muscle, I should say. I can understand why people do use Botox, but I'll get more into it a little later as we go on.
Dr. Nima, if you start getting Botox, do you have to get it forever?
Probably, but it's not a big deal. Just consider it as part of your normal skincare maintenance. You'll find that Botox not only helps with wrinkles, but it shrinks pores, might make your makeup look better, And you don't have to do it forever, but you'll probably want to.
So I actually do have a little bit of a problem with what that doctor just said. Was he just kind of made it sound like, you know, when the girl or his nurse or something asked, hey, do you have to do this forever? And he says, probably, but just consider it as your normal skincare routine. I really do have a problem with that because this is not just buying cleansers or moisturizers or whatever at your choice to use. It's like you have to go to doctors and you have to go there. I'm not sure, I can't remember how long they last. I think it could be anywhere between 3 to 6 months or so. So you'd probably be going there, you know, at least twice a year, maybe more, because there's also some problems with Botox later on as you continue to use it, and we'll go over that later. But I just feel like it's something that's just overdone, and it's at the price of what the doctors or what the medical pharmaceuticals decide to charge for Botox. So, and I actually have a problem with that. So anyways, we'll just continue on with the video and we'll go from there.
I see so many women just telling me, well, yeah, just like I get my mani and my pedi, I get my Botox and I get my fillers yeah, this is just what we do. And so the question that I am posing is, why? Have any of us actually sat down and dissected the understanding behind why we are making these choices? I am not anti taking care of yourself. I'm not anti loving beautiful things or being able to adorn your body with beautiful clothing or jewelry. But what I am questioning is this idea of filling ourselves with poison, and for what reason? To what end? That is the question I'm most curious about having. That's the deeper level, the next level of conversation that says, what are we doing here and why are we doing it? And there's a fundamental difference between wanting to have beautiful things and going to extreme lengths to distort the way you look, to put toxins on your face or in your body. There is a fundamental difference, whether you want to hear that or not.
So with this next video, he was using music that was copywritten or copyright. So I have to take down the volume. But maybe what I'll do is I'll go through it really quickly right here for you. Okay, Botox, frequently asked questions. How long does it last? 3 to 4 months. How long does it take to start working? Up to 2 weeks. How much does it cost? Depends on how many units you need. Upper face is usually $200 to $600. And again, the other doctor just said, you know, you need to kind of like do it as your normal maintenance thing. And I'm thinking, I know there's a lot of people that do have $200, $600 at their disposal all the time. But I would say most people kind of don't. This isn't very, as common as Botox has become and has been, I don't feel like this is really a good way of spending your money and keeping your health, let alone your beauty and youth. And then of course it asks, when should I start? And it says, depends on many factors, usually mid-20s to mid-30s. I am turning 40 at the end of this year. Yeah, I've never used Botox or fillers. I think I have a whole thing about it we'll talk about. But let's continue on with the show here. Now she's doing got baby Botox. Here are the results. So, okay, 24 hours later. So she's showing you how soon or fast the Botox is kicking in. We got 1 week later, and there's a problem, and I want you to be able to identify it here right now if you can. 1 week later, okay, or 1 week after, and then 2 weeks after. So she's less. Okay, so she was showing you over the time of when the Botox kicks in. And as you saw, first she was making all these expressions and you could see some lines forming. But then as the weeks continued on, she was making some expressions. They weren't really bad expressions. She could still move her face. There were times people were literally like paralyzed at this point, and you wouldn't see the lines anymore. So this is kind of how the science of it works, of course. But there are two problems that I saw with her already. So the number one factor that causes aging is not making facial expressions. It's the sun. I don't know if you noticed, But that girl had a sunburn for a little while. And then you could see the effects of her skin had gotten darker from the burning a good week or so later. I think it was a week between maybe. People use Botox as a preventative source to keep your youth longer. But when you're going out in the sun and not even protecting your skin with the sunscreen or anything, she's already causing more damage than she's even preventing at this point. Whatever she recently had before she went and got the Botox, to the point when the Botox finally kicked in, she's probably created more damage there than what she was preventing. And that really bothers me, because it's like people want immediate gratifications today. I know that that's where we are in today's society, but you're going to regret it later, especially when you weren't doing the proper things that are simple, like just don't burn in the sun. I know there's times we can't always stay out of the sun entirely, but if you can, try to, but always wear sunscreen regardless, because you will see the results of that later. And I don't think the Botox, the $200, $600 or something that you're spending on that to help yourself, you just threw it in the toilet. I'm gonna say that right now. As an esthetician that understands skin, the aging process, how the sun works with the skin or against the skin, I should say, how it damages just naturally. And then just what is out there that could be far more natural and more preventative in a way that helps and works with your body. I don't think Botox is really the deal. And I'm sorry, if you're someone who likes your Botox, maybe you have been doing Botox forever and love it, great, fine. But please take caution about putting sunscreen on and not sitting out in the sun. There's even another girl in these videos that does the same thing, and she discusses it too. I hope you're also taking the other preventative measures as well, otherwise it's just kind of silly. So this next video that I have coming up right now, again, has more copyright music, so I had to take it off. But they're going to show you in the medical office the patients that they have done, and the befores and afters, and they are, I will say, I do understand why people use Botox. I get it. They do make amazing results. So, but again, please try to also do what we would always have to do whether we had Botox or not. Staying out in the sun, putting on sunscreen all the time, at the very least. Botox unit 50. So I think they did unit 50 units. So she's also showing you, how many units she's putting in. So this is the before and after. Probably, I don't know if it was right away or probably after like a few weeks. Maybe they had them come back in or something. So you're noticing, the crow's feet. That was kind of impressive, as we saw that her skin was improving. But all the stuff that she had done in her lifetime was what accumulated to all that damage. So if she doesn't learn how to at least prevent it at this point, like I know the Botox can simply do it quickly for you. If you're not learning how to prevent it without Botox at least, I just feel like it's kind of a waste. That's all I'm saying.
One way to tell if someone has Botox or not: pressure on the area. It leaves behind these indentations. You can't massage them out with natural muscle movement, so they stay longer. Shower caps, forget it. You're gonna have that line for like a couple hours. I was just like thinking hard about something, and so I obviously got these creases that were gonna last for a while. So creases on pillows, another hint. Yeah, this is a total sign. You meet someone for brunch and they still have the pillow creases of their face. They didn't just wake up. Got some Botox.
These bumps on the forehead and glabella are called Botox bumps. She has been freshly toxed with Dysport today, and these will go away in 30 minutes or less.
So I thought that was kind of interesting just to show some of that. Granted, I think most people, like a lot of that's going to disappear. That's not, it can be a side effect, but if it goes away in 30 minutes or something, people are going to consider that nothing, right? Because we're willing to kind of get poked and prodded, and we're going to be kind of maybe red in some areas from it. But I just thought it was interesting. So our next video is going to start a series of other videos that talk a little bit about the Masseter Botox, which is the muscle in your jawline. And what they're using it today for a lot of times is to use Botox to help slim down the jawline. Some people might have more of a square face or just maybe more jowls or whatever it is, and they don't like it, they don't want it, so they want to make it look more oval-like.
Have you wondered how people on TikTok and social media are slimming their face without surgery? Well, I'm Real Dr. Bay, board-certified plastic surgeon, and here's the secret. Here's this patient's before and after. If you haven't checked out our video, I encourage you to do so. But this is how we do it. We place Botox in the masseter muscles, which is on either side of the jawbone. We place the Botox there. It softens the muscle, relaxes it, narrows the face, and can also be a great treatment for TMJ. And there you go. No surgery. That's the secret.
How did Bethany Frankel change her jawline without surgery? Some facial reshaping can be done without surgery, something as simple as Botox, because this jawline out here, there's a muscle, the masseter muscle, which a lot of people grind or bite down, can hypertrophy or get bigger, and that will give a more masculine, wide look to the jawline. Now, when you put Botox in, it weakens or atrophies that muscle, and it will shrink in, and then the facial structure and jawline will become less masculine and wide and more feminine and refined. In general, everybody knows Botox isn't permanent, so the effect is somewhat non-permanent. Now, over time, you can do repeated injections, which will last longer, but if a patient didn't like it and they just stopped doing the Botox, the muscle can regrow and go back to its original shape.
This is what happens when your Botox in your masseters goes wrong. Well, it doesn't really go wrong. I just need to add more because my masseters are super strong. You ready for this? Let's see the other one. That one's not that bad, but this one, woo! Can punch someone, can knock someone out. And no, this isn't bad. It's not gonna stay like that. It's an easy fix. Just part of the muscle hasn't been hit by the toxin. So I just need to add a little more and it'll go down.
This is a public service announcement. Ladies, if you are considering masseter Botox, don't do it. I am being so honest. I was probably like everyone else and was like, oh my God, of course you wanna like slim your face. But it has created more problems for me than like benefit. I'll even I can even show you right now. So this muscle has atrophied so much that this new muscle is popping out. And it's almost like creating a jowl effect. Let me get it in like the right light. Do you see that? So this muscle has atrophied so much to the point where like this muscle is taking over. And then it also can cause jowls. It also can fuck your smile up. If I can find a picture, I'll insert it. Like my smile, the last time I got Botox, this side, like it was like cut off. Like it couldn't go all the way out. And like, I just am like, why did I even start doing that in the first place? I started getting it for my migraines and my TMJ. So my neurologist started doing it, and then I just kept doing it for a year and a half. And the very last time that I actually had it done, they hit something different over here, and I had severe jaw pain for like a month. No one was gonna do anything about it. They were like, you just have to let it wear off, etc., etc. I just think it can cause so many more problems than like the problem you're trying to fix. If you feel like you have it, like unless you have severe like chipmunk, your masseters are like out to here, I would not do it. And that's just my PSA, because if someone like would have had this video up like a year and a half ago and I would have watched it, I probably would have like rethought that. I would have done extra research. I am like so mad that I'm having these issues now.
This is how much Botox you actually need to treat your masseter muscles. Typically, I start my patients off with about 25 to 40 units in each masseter and 5 units in each temporalis muscle. Yes, I said each. So that means that 60 to 90 units total, and honestly, it's sometimes a little more. Masseter Botox can help with jawline slimming, clenching or grinding, and TMJ pain. Have you thought about treating your masseter muscles with Botox?
This gentleman has masseteric hypertrophy, and that's overgrowth of the masseter muscles, which are muscles that allow you to clench your teeth. We see it a lot in people who chew a lot of gum and who grind their teeth at night, and the treatment is Botox to cause muscle atrophy.
So that last person was pretty crazy. He had, like he said, it was kind of more of a like an overgrowth. He's been chewing, grinding, or doing something a little much to his face in order for those muscles to just develop so much. And so for other people, like they said, like one girl said that, you know, she had done the master bone, and she said if a video like this was ever made, she might reconsider it. So that was another reason why I put it in, was because I think what she said was valid. Some people don't really understand or know the risks. They might hear the risks, but you know, they always believe, oh, well then, you know, that's not gonna happen to me. I won't be one of those people. But then it's really sad if you are one of those people that come down with something really, really bad. And again, it's just another risk since you are injecting. And on that other video that she was talking about, how many units that she puts into the jaw, those were a lot of units. And I do believe that they charge by the unit. And if you noticed the needles in there, there's like all these little measurements. Those are the units. So each unit, you know, when you hear someone saying, oh, I put, you know, like she said, what'd she say? Put 60 units in or something just in one spot or whatever. She might be putting in, I don't know how many units that is on a syringe, but that's crazy. And I just think it's a lot.
So what do you think about this whole idea of having Botox at a really young age as a preventative?
The reason why I don't recommend Botox as prejuvenation in general is I see patients who've had Botox for 10 years, for 15 years, and some of them appear to get resistance, possibly antibodies to it. Meaning that you need a larger dose of Botox to work. Maybe it doesn't last quite as long, or maybe we have to go to a Botox alternative, one of the other companies that makes a different type of botulinum toxin. So if you're in your 20s and you don't have any wrinkles and you're injecting your face full of Botox, are you potentially setting a stage that when you're my age or Kellyanne's age and you really do want the Botox, it doesn't work anymore for you? That's a possibility.
Let's talk about some side effects of doing Botox injections for, of course, cosmetic reasons. Okay, number 1, it can cause headaches. Number 2, nausea in some people. Number 3, drooling, if this is affecting the muscles around the mouth. Number 4, that droopy eyelid. Number 5, dryness in the eyes. And number 6, even vision problems. So if you're at all concerned or if you've experienced any of these before, please let me know in the comments. But also, you may want to consider some more natural approaches. So doing face yoga or a facial massage can be a great way to have that lifting effect without any of the toxins.
Here's why your Botox is going to look in 10 years. Admittedly, when you first start having Botox, it can look better. Can. Over long-term use, your face is going to adapt. Different muscles are going to start working. Muscles that aren't naturally working when you're smiling. These muscles. When your face is paralyzed in some areas, unnatural muscles will start to move. Therefore, over long-term use, that's when the face distorts. So my advice, chill it out. If you don't want to stop, that's fine. Just chill out on the Botox. Because in 10 years, you're going to look.
How does Botox make you look older? Well, Botox is injected into the muscle, which relaxes it and prevents it from making certain movements. When the muscle can no longer contract, the overlying skin will appear smoother and wrinkle-free. However, freezing the muscle or freezing the forehead or repetitive, continuous treatments of Botox that prevent the muscle from making any movement can make the muscle atrophy, meaning any muscle that's not used will shrink in size and get smaller. Muscles are a cushion underneath the skin, and when the muscle gets smaller or atrophies, the overlying skin will appear thinner and the veins from underneath will become more apparent, and also your forehead will go from a youthful convex shape into a more concave shape, and all of that will make you look older. So if you've not allowed any muscle movement in your forehead for years, I really highly recommend you do a Botox detox and you let the muscles wake up for about 6 months to a year.
Does using Botox over time cause the muscles to atrophy and contribute to skin sagging? This is a great question. If we don't use our muscles for an extended period of time, those muscles can atrophy. This is true anywhere in the body. For example, if you're going to the gym every day, you're working out, and you bulk up your biceps, and then you suddenly stop, then those bicep muscles will shrink down over time. Another example is if you break your arm and it's immobilized in a cast. Once that cast comes off, you'll notice that the arm is not the same size as the other arm because the muscles have not been used, they've shrunk, and they've atrophied. So how does this relate to Botox injections? Well, if you completely paralyze a muscle with Botox consistently over a long period of time, then those muscles will shrink and atrophy over time. But when done properly, this can actually be used to your advantage. When you consistently get Botox to the point where the muscle is relaxed enough to where you don't have the lines and wrinkles, but you still have some mild movement, that muscle will atrophy a little bit, but not enough to cause loss of muscle mass. So what that mild atrophy can do is allow you to increase the duration between your treatments or let you use a decreased dose. And this atrophy, when it occurs, is never permanent because if you take a break from doing the Botox, the muscle will start to function again and will build back up. Remember, there's more to skin sagging than just muscle mass and muscle strength. Skin elasticity, collagen, bone volume, fat volume all contribute. An important point here is that you only want to Botox the muscles that actually need it. And when you're not Botoxing every single muscle in your face, there are still other muscles left that are working at full strength to maintain a normal facial expression. The common theme with all these treatments, though, is that you need to be under the care of someone who really knows what they're doing. Whether preventatively or therapeutically, the goal is to relax those muscles enough to take away the wrinkles and lines while preserving some mild activity. If you found this useful, follow for more.
I get Botox about every 6 months right now, but I'm trying to cut down on it or stop altogether because there's been a lot of information out about how bad it is actually to use neurotoxins to stop your muscles from moving. Go on TikTok and search for a video from Dr. Adil. So here's the video that you want to watch.
And so Botox, obviously, but it's a neurotoxin, so basically it paralyzes the muscle, so you don't move it. But what it does over time is it does impair blood flow, so meaning the muscles can become weaker, actually. And then
So like a lot of ladies that have been doing Botox for a long time, they're starting to get like indents in their skin because that muscle cannot recover.
Okay, so they're talking about a neurotoxin, which is the Botox. It's a toxin. And the thing that they call it a neurotoxin, because what it does is it actually affects your nerves. That's what it does. Now, some of them say, well, if you don't like what's going on or whatever's happening, then just stop with the Botox or just give it a break or whatever. I think for most people, things might return. But my question is what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't return or doesn't return like it did? It returned a bit, but it's just different. And like they said, some of the other muscles that you're stopping from working doesn't mean that other muscles inside are not working alongside it. And now you're like developing these other muscles instead. So it's really like this extreme balance of what you're doing with Botox. And I know some people are like, well, make sure you go to a reputable, practitioner. And while that is very, very true, my question about that is, how long did it take for a practitioner to become reputable? Who are the guinea pigs that they're going to have to inject and play with a bit till they finally get it right? Granted, some of it is to a point where they have done it enough times that they now know, oh, I would never put that much in anymore, or quite right there, it needs to be a little bit more over here, or what do I need to look for exactly to know exactly where and how much to place in. And it still doesn't mean that they can't make a mistake either. Everyone makes mistakes, even though they've been doing it forever and ever and ever. Just all of a sudden, they just didn't quite get the spot just right or whatever it is. And, you just kind of become that person that, I don't want to use the word botched because it's not surgical, but we're going to look at a few other videos right now of some other girls as to what Botox has done for them and primarily their smile and their regret about it. So after 3 weeks, she can't smile very well. Now, of course, there's copyright music, Does, yeah.
For anyone that's ever had Botox, I need you to tell me if this is normal or if this has ever happened to you, or like, will it go away? Okay, so normally I've gotten in the past a couple times like baby Botox, where it's just like a tiny brow lift, and right here I grind my teeth in the middle of the night, so I wake up and my jaw hurts, so I've gotten like right here my like masseter muscles. This time I went in and they did a lot more units than normal, and my face is frozen, which, like, okay, that's fine. It's not the forehead that's bothering me. Like, yes, my forehead's frozen, which kind of freaks me out. Like, when I squint too hard, I feel like I'm gonna shit in my pants, and I'm trying so hard to like do it and I can't. Whatever, that is a whole separate story. My biggest fear, my biggest qualm right now is that I tried to smile. I was like on set for a shoot the other day and I tried to smile, and bro, what the fuck is that? This is me smiling as like when I laugh, this is that's what. Also, ignore my tongue, it's brown from I just drank coffee, but what the fuck is this? I think it's because they put it here, so like my right here, like my, what are these called, crow's feet, they won't move, which like is all good and great, but I don't have crow's feet, so like now when bro, and this part goes down. What is that? What is that? Like, just for reference, I'm gonna insert a photo of my real smile. Hold on. Like, that is my real like vague smile. I couldn't even do that if I tried, and then I look like this because I can't move this. I look like a marionette. You guys, what the actual, I'm gonna freak. Like, how long does this go away? I mean, I know Botox goes away, but like, I look like a marionette. Like, I look like my mouth is gonna go. What the?
So whenever anyone injects, it does not mean that it's going to work for everyone. Even though biology is biology, we all have like the same muscle structure and everything, everyone is still a little different. And like I said, I'm sure most of these people have gone to a reputable practitioner, because I know that's the first question. Well, did you go to someone who's reputable? Yeah, it doesn't mean they don't make a mistake. And like, now one thing that she said, now they might have made her as like a cash cow here, because like she said she doesn't have crow's feet, but they decided to inject more there. Why? It's either they don't really know what Botox really does and what's going on now with the studies of people's faces, now that we've been doing this for quite a while, or they didn't really care. They're just gonna like charge her for the units, that's for sure. And now she's upset because her smile is not what it used to be, and she just doesn't feel normal and natural anymore. So, food for thought.
There are many different ways your Botox can go wrong, and you should probably know about it. Full disclosure, I love Botox. I specifically like Dysport as a toxin of choice, but things are complicated in the face. Look at those muscles. There's a lot of overlap here. These muscles are very thin, and even if you try and inject it into the place that you want, maybe the 100th time you inject someone, it can leak into a place that you didn't want it to go. If your Botox that you're getting in your chin for chin dimples leaks into this muscle, you can end up with that, where the lip doesn't drop when you smile. If your forehead Botox leaks into a muscle that gets close to your eyelid muscle, of course this can happen. This is all of our worst nightmares. Botox is also common if you have TMJ or for facial slimming to get it into the masseter muscle, but it can leak right into that muscle and you'll end up with, when you try to smile, it's just not working right. Get all your questions answered at your Botox appointment. These are also very rare and they don't generally last the entire length of the Botox, which is 3 to 4 months, but you should know about them.
Can you imagine, so you're doing Botox so that you look better on top of trying to keep the anti-aging at bay, or the aging at bay, and it just gets injected wrong. Just one time even, just this one time. And now you have a face that just doesn't work proportionally at all now. So the whole point of doing that, only to find out that now you kind of look a little freaky, instead of being, oh, you look so much better, or beautiful, or younger, or refreshed, whatever it may be. It's a possibility. You're gonna walk around looking a little freakish, possibly. I'm gonna say it doesn't happen common, that's why I think people do it, but I think it's more common than most people think, because it's so easy. Like you said, the face is so complex. It is, it's very complex. The body itself is complex. So for a human being to just be like, well, we're just gonna inject this, and it's somewhat slightly blind because you can't see through the skin. You know, you can't really see, it's just kind of this general area, and you just that, you know, and just from the studies of how much units someone would need may not be right for you. Oh, and on top of it, again, it's maybe they did inject it in the proper place, but he's using the words leaked, like it didn't stay and it just went somewhere else. And that could be for various reasons, whether it just did it on its own, or I don't know, you just washing your face because you're kind of massaging your face a bit or something, and it just kind of leaked there, you know, anything can happen.
Hi, I'm Keishani Parvu, and I'm an oculofacial surgeon, and I'm going to talk about why your Botox may not be lasting as long. So every now and then I hear people talk about how they feel like their toxin isn't lasting as long, and I'm going to give you a few reasons why. So there are some patients that are just fast metabolizers, and usually it's people that are thin, tend to work out a lot, have lean body mass, and sometimes they can run through their toxins faster than other people. So another reason is that patients can sometimes develop an immunity against a specific neurotoxin. So these are neutralizing antibodies that get produced, and it blocks it from being effective. Now, this happens usually in patients that are very loyal to one brand and tend to use the same one over and over. So a lot of times we can try a different brand and it can work. Sometimes it is possible to develop this against all neurotoxins. There is a blood test that can be done to help diagnose this. Finally, one thing that I do see sometimes is when patients are not injected with enough toxin. So it's important to go to an injector that not only knows the anatomy, but how much toxin is needed in the different areas to get an effective treatment.
Thinking about getting Masseter Botox? Don't. So yeah, you see how some people their smiles are getting weird if they put it in here. Not everyone, again, like she said, but I know I've jumped around a little bit in this video, but for example, I know people are doing it for preventative reasons, but then they're saying you really shouldn't do it for that because you might develop like a resistance to it, similar to, you know, other substances out on the market, if you will. Over time, you need more and more and more in order for it to do its job. But what happens if there can be problems? Eventually it's like, no, if you go any farther than this, you can, you know, overdose. You can overdo it and you may not be here anymore. So that's something that you really do need to look into and think about, because if you're doing it for preventative reasons, there's just so many variables with Botox that I just feel like, I personally, I just don't feel like it's worth it, you know? That's just my input, but I just thinking about all this, I just don't think it really is.
Okay, so we need to talk. I hate my Botox. Okay, this is not my injector. I love her and she did exactly what I wanted. Okay, starting with that. Second, I feel 10 years older than I actually am. I feel ugly. I'm trying to like make faces and I just feel so stupid. I feel stupid with my Botox. I don't feel hot. I'm never going to get it again. Scratch that. I'm going to get it again in 10 years when I actually need it. So that's happy Monday.
Botox can push your eyebrows down like these people right here, and I should know because it happened to me as well. This is caused from too much Botox inserted in the lower half of your frontalis muscle, which can push your eyebrows down, creating puff. Or long-term use can keep the area completely paralyzed.
Okay, so that was really interesting. Like she said, it's just overdoing it over so much, you know? So now this next clip it's a doctor that's going to show you, hey, these are the places you don't want to put the Botox. And then she'll kind of show you a little bit with her finger as to why. And I think it's actually kind of interesting. So if you're someone who's thinking about getting Botox or doing any of that, this might be something to look into, to show, or something to find out more about it, because you may regret it later. So 3 years you should not get Botox. High cheek wrinkles. Look what happens. She goes really fast here, but You know, you normally go like that, but when you put the Botox in, all of a sudden you can't even like look good, like look interested or whatever. Your smile, here we go. And this is why people are having weird smiles.
You actually wrote your thesis on Botox. We know there are medical uses for it. Right now it's being used for migraines, for example, and it can be very, very helpful. But the tox part of Botox is toxin. It's a toxin. And this toxin acts by paralyzing your muscle. And when I kind of learned about it, you know, you have to be very careful, because if it gets into your bloodstream and it becomes systemic, it's affecting a lot of other nerve endings as well. It's not just doesn't just stay in your skin. And so, you know, if you have a great detox capability, you're probably breaking it down fine. And most people probably have no issues, but there will be people who are affected by it systemically.
Yes, getting Botox injections can cause long-term side effects. I just got off the phone with a person that got Botox injections 10 years ago, guys. And she was disabled 10 days later. Now, since then, she's been having a lot of immune system and neurological issues, and she just recently was diagnosed with POTS. So a lot of the times, this can disrupt your autonomic nervous system and can cause severe side effects for these patients. So what we are trying to do here, guys, is to accept your body for what it is and to avoid toxic injections that can cause severe heart rate issues, severe neurological based issues, as well as immune system triggers down the line. Ladies, stop using Botox. Botox is a neurotoxin produced by the bacteria Clostridium botulinum. It is also the same toxin that creates life-threatening food poisoning, and it is known to cause adverse side effects with brain cognition and mobility. It crosses the blood-brain barrier directly into the cerebellum. So ladies, you are beautiful with your wrinkles. Accept your body and avoid this toxin at all times.
I know that's really easy to say, like just accept yourself. But that's kind of what this channel is about a bit, is how to accept yourself and still feel and look beautiful. I will go more into detail on that if you look over my channel a little bit as to what I'm doing. And I know it's just easy, especially for a man, to say, ladies, just accept yourself for who you are. And while that is true, like we know that that's kind of difficult because we don't want to see ourselves like, yeah, I used to look so pretty when I was like 20, and now I'm like 90, you know. And you just don't feel pretty after you've like, oh, I used to look like this. Because I even look at videos earlier in my channel that I'm like, oh, I wish I looked like that. I've noticed that a little bit about myself even, but at least I've really kept, I feel I've kept a lot of my aging away because I know a lot about the skin and anti-aging and everything. I'm not perfect at it. I know there's other things I wish I could do. I just don't have the money for it, but I am someone who wouldn't use Botox. That's just me.
Have you ever wondered what a person who's been using Botox for 20 years looks like when they stop? Wonder no more. This is it. Look. I stopped using it in October, so it's pretty much gone, but you notice I don't have muscle movement because I haven't used them in so long. So now I'm basically rebuilding my muscles. It's starting to come back, I can tell, but not all the way back yet. So don't worry, just take breaks.
I'm so happy that my Botox is gone. And if you know me, you know that it's really weird that I got Botox. Like that's really not something that I would do. I was just like, it's temporary. It's gonna last 3 months. I don't want my forehead wrinkles anymore. And I'm in the sun all the time. I was like, well, I should just prevent this now. I was so unhappy that I could not express myself. I knew that that was gonna happen, but I thought I'd still like be able to express myself through other parts, but it just wasn't the same. I would still try to do that just because it was just like my instinctual face movements, and it would like come out weird. It would be like, I don't even know. I am thankful that I did get Botox because it made me appreciate things about myself that I didn't appreciate before, such as my wrinkles. I don't know who's appreciating those, but now when I can like express myself, I'm just happy that they are there because that's the way that I am. And that is like how I'm supposed to be able to move my face. 2 months into the Botox, it was like really kicking in strong, and I was like, I want this to go away so bad. And I would look at my friend, the way that she talks, how her face would just like move so expressively and like convey what she's feeling, and I would literally be like, I wish that I had my wrinkles back. Like, I wish that I could move my face that way, in the way that forms wrinkles, because that is how we're supposed to talk and how our face is supposed to move. It's just you. It's you, and that's how you are. Why did I want to change how I was? And I know that's like to a deeper level of things, like it's just wrinkles. It's not like changing who you are, but it felt like I didn't really feel like me for a little time period. I just couldn't like express myself. I don't know. So happy that it's back.
So again, she's another girls that was like, oh, I'm in the sun all the time. And I'm like, number one problem right there. Number one problem, just saying. And you can tell she's someone that sits in the sun. Like, she's got a tan. She's not super ooper duper dark, but I could get as dark as her. But I am choosing to not be in the sun, and I wear sunscreen. So, yeah. So we're gonna talk a little bit now about some of the alternatives, and I'm gonna get into that a little bit deeper, but I'm just gonna kind of put this out for now in the video.
5 things you can do so that you don't have to do Botox. Take collagen every day. Use hyaluronic acid paired with a facial mist day and night. Use LED light therapy. The panel is the best way to go, hands down. Microcurrent will tone and tighten your skin. And if all of that is not enough and you want to freeze the muscle without needles, find a serum with the ingredient arginine.
That one went really, really fast, and it got cut off somehow. I don't know why, but it just did. I don't know what that last thing that she was talking about. I just realized that on this one. But yeah, the whole idea, like, what's deteriorating in your skin? Probably collagen and elastin. So maybe we should be taking some collagen elastin supplements and make sure it's a good one. You do need vitamin C. That is what you're gonna need as well. Sometimes they don't put vitamin C in there. I don't know why. So you might need to take a vitamin C supplement in order for the collagen to work, because it uses collagen, or the collagen is used with the vitamin C. They go hand in hand, and they can't build the structure of collagen or elastin without vitamin C. So that is something to definitely think about. Stay out in the sun. Stop going out in the sun all the time. Now, I understand some of us might have jobs that are a bit in the sun. Definitely wear a hat. And I'm pretty sure that if you are literally out in the sun all the time, you already know to wear a hat, because that sun is hot. You know that for a fact. You are a person that's like, heck, I gotta stay out of the sun. Just to be comfortable, wearing a hat is helpful. So don't be tanning out there and going to tanning beds. I used to do tanning beds. I hate myself for doing that now. I hate it. I can't believe, I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was well before I became an esthetician. Again, certain skincare products and things to do. I have an entire line of books on finding out. I have a quiz that you can take to find out your skin type. And then I have books that cover what you should be doing for your skin type. How do you take care of your skin? Because it's all about how your skin develops oil or the lack of oil, and how it's distributed throughout your face. That's going to help you to use the proper products to take care of your skin for what it does on its own. One of my biggest things that I'm always promoting a lot into this channel is that hydrating your skin is huge. It is huge. That itself will help keep wrinkles softer and lighter just on its own, on top of the fact that hydrating your skin is healthy for the skin. I'm pretty sure we all know that. And drinking water is not going to do that. You need to know how to topically on the skin hydrate your skin. That is a huge thing, and I do discuss that in my books that I have. I discuss a lot of things on the anti-aging process and how to take care of your skin so that you can look youthful and young for life. I am all about long-term beauty here on this channel, so I'm really wanting people to start doing that. Now, I'm not trying to be a jerk about Botox. As you probably already know, I'm not a big fan of Botox. I understand the reasons why people use it. I get it. Sometimes it is for medical and health reasons. Like, one girl said that she gets TMJ, she clenches down, and so in the morning her jaw hurts. I can understand that. Also, I know that they put Botox into the head. It's up here actually, specifically for migraines. So when people are suffering through a few things like that, I can kind of understand why they're so desperate to use those things, and I get it. But when I'm talking about more of the beauty standard, understand your skin. Understand what damages the skin and stay away from it, and how you can prevent that. Understand how to take care of your skin. Understand how to just do all this so that you can stay youthful. People are able to do it through some general natural substances and things, as so long as they know how to take care of their skin. The whole reason why I became an esthetician was because I wanted to see myself age gracefully enough to where people wouldn't be able to really tell how old I am. I know I mentioned I'm turning 40 this year, at the very end of this year in December. So, you know, I'm hoping that it shows that I know what I'm talking about. I just don't feel like injecting your muscle, your skin, or anything of like that is really, I just knew when this started to become very popular that I'm like, oh, we're gonna hear it in 10, 15, 20 years. What are the major side effects? And I don't think I got even that deep into the side effects. You know, on top of the fact that anyone doing it at a young age, like a lot of the girls were doing when I was in aesthetics class in school, a lot of girls were a lot younger than me. They were like 10 years younger than me at least. And they were already doing it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what the real long terms are. No one does. They are going to say it's safe. They used to say smoking was great and healthy for you. So I'm wondering how much. It's such a big moneymaker, I feel too, that I don't think that they're gonna want to see Botox leave the industry for very long. I think they're gonna want to try to keep that as long around as possible because it makes money. Look how much money you have to put into it so many times a year. And for some people, they metabolize it so fast, they need to come back even sooner than maybe the average person. Maybe you're one of those people. I would hate to spend that amount of money on a toxin that affects your neurons. It's your brain and your nerves. Like, those are super important. You mess those up, you're gonna regret it. I just don't think it's worth it, and all it takes is one bad shot. One bad shot, as we heard earlier in our video here about that woman who got, I didn't even look up what POTS. She's got a problem now that it sounds like she's gonna have for the rest of her life. And it's really, really sad. Maybe I will look it up. Let's ask Google, what is POTS disease? Okay, I can't even say it. It's this really long word. It's some sort of syndrome. It's a condition where your heart rate increases significantly when you stand up, causing symptoms like dizziness, lightheadedness, and fatigue. That's scary. I mean, you can fall over and faint. That's scary. What if you really hurt yourself? And he didn't go into the details. I don't know if this is, like, this could be a permanent thing for her or for anyone in this case, or if it's like, I mean, even if it is just temporary, like, is making your health really worth the thought process of just keeping yourself young in that case? You know, I don't think that's appropriate. That's just me. Now, I know there are people out there, maybe you're one of them, that do Botox and you like it. That's fine. If you're someone who is interested in Botox or thinking about it, I hope this video helped a little bit to help you understand more about the possible consequences or what could go wrong. You know, think about, like, well, what if it does go a little wrong just a little bit and now you're gonna look kind of funky for so many months until it finally throws out of your system. Maybe you find out you're someone that, you know, dissolves it quite quickly and your metabolism just takes it really quickly, and now you got to go in and get more. And every time you have to keep going in, you are possibly risking symptoms that could be temporary, but could be long temporary, because trust me, when your face is kind of weirdly frozen or doing something strange, it seems like it's a lifetime when you look funny for a good 3, 4, 6 months, whatever it may be. It's more important for you to understand your skin and how to take care of it, and what other products and uses are out there that you can make your skin or body respond in a positive way and do its own thing. Exfoliation is a big way to keep your skin away from things like wrinkles. There's a whole science to it. I'm not going to discuss it here on this video, but maybe I will later. I think I even have some videos on exfoliation. Maybe you can look it up somewhere. I'll try to see if I can find it and put it up here if possible. But just realize that, you know, it can really affect you in that way. So I don't know, what do you think about this whole thing? If you're someone who uses Botox or is thinking of using Botox or has regretted using Botox or just don't want to do it anymore, just let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Why are you using it? Why did you stop using it? Why are you considering it? You know, or why have you been using it and everything? That'd be very interesting in the comments, and I'm curious to hear from you what you use it for or would like to use it for, or why you stopped. I'm sure other people might want to hear that, for those that are considering possibly looking into doing it for the first time. So without making this video even longer, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me here at Contour Image, and just remember to stay beautiful for life.